Hello, I'm Annette Young and welcome to the 51%, a show about women reshaping our world. Coming up, what happens when you're the sole abortion clinic in the American state of Mississippi and are fighting on all fronts to remain open. Also, a France 24 team heads to the Iranian island of Qeshm, which is fast becoming a tourist destination and as a result opening up opportunities for women in a traditional culture. And a look back to May 1968, a time of tumultuous change here in France, especially for women. But we begin in the United States, where the Trump administration has made some progress in restricting access to both abortion and contraception. Mississippi is among 7 states with just one centre where women can seek an abortion. Yet in March, the state's governor signed a new law where pregnancy terminations would be banned after 15 weeks. The move resulted in pro-choice groups using legal action to prevent the law being implemented. In the meantime, the state's only abortion clinic is doing what it can to keep its doors open, as this report shows.
They call it the Pink House. In this colorful building sits the Jackson Women's Health Organization, the last operating abortion clinic in Mississippi. Pro-life protesters gather out front regularly to try to convince patients to change their minds.
I believe, what's done here is wrong because a baby is a baby at the time of conception. Because the Father says, in the Word that before He formed them in the womb, He knew them before they were even born.
Volunteers escort patients into the clinic, shielding them from determined demonstrators. The clinic plays music to try to drown out activists who shout at patients even through the building's gates.
Go with me and I'll take you to the CPC, Center for Pregnancy Choices. And they have beautiful life-affirming options. Not too late to change your mind.
Just across the street is an anti-abortion center where protesters hope to lure patients instead. But the clinic still provides roughly 200 abortions per month. It is only open 2.5 days a week since it has to bring in doctors from other states. Faced with harassment, no local doctors will perform the procedure. And abortions are nearly impossible to have by law, after Mississippi passed a series of restrictions supported by its largely religious constituents.
Besides all of the physical barriers that they have to overcome, then they have to overcome the emotional barriers of the position that these people and this state and religion puts them in.
In the country's poorest state, abortion is sometimes an economic necessity. But it's not always easy to travel to Jackson for the 2 state-required doctor's appointments, nor spend the $600 the procedure costs.
What happens when you make abortion inaccessible or you put so many restrictions? You're impacting these women disproportionately. Lower income women may not have the opportunity to take time off of work from their job to go have an abortion.
Like Mississippi, 6 other U.S. states have only one remaining clinic that provides abortions.
To Iran now, and it's extremely rare for reporters to gain permission to film on the island of Qeshm, located in the Persian Gulf. The traditional culture of the island's Sunni inhabitants means that women are required to mask their faces and are often married at puberty. But the arrival of tourists in recent years is bringing about changes, as our correspondents Mariam Perzadeh and Sarah Sadie found out.
This is the island of Qeshm, complete with boats, fishermen and paradise landscapes. But behind the idyllic scenery lies one of Iran's most traditional societies. Women living here rarely leave their villages alone. Yet, 17-year-old Sadia is breaking the mould. She is the first daughter in her family to attend university, and her studies have taken her to the Iranian mainland, to the port city of Bandar Abbas, a change that took her mother some getting used to.
I cried a lot the first day. I was extremely sad. Now I'm starting to adapt.
Her mother wears a burqa, a mask partially covering her face, a sign that she is married. Traditional in southern Iran, the practice is being increasingly abandoned by younger women like Sadia. At an age when many of her friends are marrying, her eyes are set on her professional future.
I want to become someone in this society. Everyone's studying these days. Not having education is no longer an option.
Her older sisters never had this opportunity. At 27, Taiba is a mother to 5 children. Because of the long commute and pressure from her aunts, Taiba didn't even finish her primary education. Now a seamstress in her brother's shop, she wants her children to have a different future.
Some of my family members ask, why are girls going to school? What are they doing there? They say that's enough. Women need to learn how to look after the home. They have to get married. Because in the past, girls married at 14, 15 years old. But today, the director of my children's school organizes meetings to plead with mothers to keep their daughters in school, to not marry them off too early, and keep them in school until at least 18 years of age.
Sending more girls to school is also an important goal for Hamid, a teacher trying to shake up these ancestral traditions in his classroom.
In class, I ask my students, which of you is our next doctor? Some girls say, me. Others say they want to be a teacher. I tell them that they all have the opportunity to improve the lives of those living in Qeshm. Kids are ready to hear that. I think there really is a change happening here. Among parents, only 10% oppose the idea of sending their daughters to school, but the other 90% agree their daughters need to study, travel, and see the world.
The inhabitants here are Sunni, unlike the rest of the country, which is 90% Shiite. Inside mosques, which are forbidden to women, some imams do preach that young women should stay in school. One of the highest religious authorities on the island agreed to speak with us.
We want an educated social class, whether it's boys or girls. When a mother is illiterate, she can better educate her children. And that is the way to stay faithful.
An awareness that goes way beyond the school gates. More and more women are also wanting to work and especially become artisans. With fabric and a bit of cotton, Amene makes these little dolls in her house, each sold for less than €2. She's surrounded by her daughters, who help sell her wares and pass on their culture.
She has no borge. She wears a traditional dress. She has reached the age of puberty and wears a chador, but not a mask because she is not married. The daughter I want to show you is married. She wears the bore. She has become a woman. A mother has to teach her daughter to make these dolls herself, to pass on, because it's a custom of the past. We do not want to lose a tradition that dates back so long.
Jima, the younger sister, is not married. She has transformed the family home to accommodate travellers from around the world. She thinks the growth of tourism on the island has also changed attitudes.
In my family, everything is now in my hands, and that's good. In the village, those who were against what I was doing, who said that we should not welcome tourists, that it was not acceptable, that we would lose our culture, even they are now waiting for tourists and opening their homes. That way they can earn a salary. Women are also doing the same thing.
Women, like the country as a whole, want to be more visible in society. This new generation of young women who may one day play a role on their island.
And finally, May 1968 was a volatile time here in France with a series of student protests and strikes that disrupted the country. But it was also a time of sweeping change for French women in everything from the workplace through to hemlines, as Charlie James reports.
In the mid-1960s, a new figure suddenly appeared in France's public sphere. From under a strong male gaze, this new era took hold, as the actress Masha Merrill recalls today.
And see, I wore miniskirts. It was also an affirmation of independence.
Independence was the key word in those days for girls as well as boys who asserted themselves with long hair despite it being prohibited.
It's a way of protesting. It's very difficult for us to have long hair now. Hair guides our life from the first time we cut it. And I find it unacceptable because according to the League of Human Rights, we have the right to have long hair.
Even more influential, in 1967, the pill became legal. It's a real revolution for women.
It's good for some families because the woman becomes a slave when there are many children.
I'm old enough to have lived life without the pill and with the pill. Also, I had difficulties because without the pill, abortions were extremely dangerous.
Women are also increasingly taking jobs. Close to 40% of them are in the workforce, but many are on the production line and few in management. The only female managers are some journalists overseeing editorial staff.
Here is Christiane. She's very comfortable in her job. The notion of the weaker sex does not apply here.
The student movement and general strike may be better known, but the rise of women in May 1968 was indeed a tidal wave on French society.
And that's it for now. You can connect with us via our Facebook page, that of course being France24.51%, or do send us a tweet at _51%. Thanks for your feedback so far. And yes, please do keep those comments and suggestions rolling in. So until our next show, bye for now.